This is a question from Alan. Does Yves have a favorite way to train the full crimp specifically?
Full crimps, I'll mostly focus like on the wall, on the board or something like that's when I'm gonna apply it a lot. So when I do board climbing, usually I'll do all my full crimps. On the board, I don't use it too much, even like on the like small edge, like the 4. Sometimes I'll put the thumbs over, but sometimes I don't. I notice when I pull really, if I try to do 1 rep max, like say off a block, like a 6 mil block or something, when I get close, it naturally just like
your thumb goes on. Yeah.
yeah, it goes on. But it just kind of like pulls over. It's like, okay, you might need a little extra. So like it just like clamps down. Yeah. But yeah, I think in terms of training, it's maybe best to not include it just because it gives you an extra, an extra point to anchor on. Another thing, a lot of people have trouble with that grip, especially with training a lot in the gym. The holds tend to be very big now and like open hand. So it's a grip. It's more of a technique, like the crimp. So if someone wants to kind of like get good at it, I would say probably like to just do like really easy traverse on a vert with like small crimps where you can really load your feet and not load the hands so much, but just get used to that position. I have a really funny story actually that might interest a lot of people. So when I was younger, when I started climbing, I had crazy amount of finger injury. I just kept getting finger injury all the time. And I started noticing that it would only, so from what I've learned back in the days, I would read some books and it would always say, okay, you should only train open hands, never train your crimps, anything like that. So I did that, right? And every time I would go to a competition and I would get a crimp or something like that, I noticed that's when I got injured. And I think one of the reasons behind that is that like my body is never used to that position. So when I started realizing that, I started doing exactly that. So going really easy, but like getting used to that position, doing like really easy traverse, doing some crimps and stuff, just slowly getting build that strength. And I never got a finger injury after that from crimping or anything like that.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I think what I kind of want to say with this is like, it's important to train for what you're gonna experience like on the rock or the gym. So if you're gonna be climbing a lot on pockets, then it's probably important to spend a lot of time spending a lot of time on that. Same thing, if you're gonna climb a lot on like really crimpy, sharp boulders, well, you should probably spend a lot of time crimping. Because if you don't, that's when you're a bit more at risk of injury, because you're going to introduce something that you've never really, never spend a lot of time on, and you're going to be a bit more at risk of injury. I mean, it's the same thing as like when we're talking about like going on a trip. You're used to climbing 2-3 times a week or something like that, and then all of a sudden you go to a climbing trip. All you want to do is climb every day, and you spend like 6 hours on a rock. You don't take a rest day. Then you're going to be a little bit more at risk of injury. So my philosophy is like, if you're going to get that type of movements or that type of holds, then you should train it.
If you find videos like this helpful, I put together a free masterclass on how to unlock your full potential in climbing, where I share some of the best nuggets I've learned from interviewing the best climbers in the world. It's for any climber who wants to improve, and it'll help you take your climbing to the next level. Link in the description below if you want to check it out.
It's a funny grip too. Like, even if you go away from crimping for a while and like you go back, it feels funny. It just doesn't feel natural. But if you start doing it a little bit more, then like it just becomes like, you get very good at it and very strong at it. It's a funny one. There's probably a very specific technique aspect to it too, like where you have to build that technique and like getting used to that position to be efficient, or else it just doesn't feel very good. It doesn't feel like you're accomplishing anything. I see it all the time. Yeah.
I want to get your take on different grip positions in your training and how you think about that. And this is an interesting question from someone. This is another question from FD Climbs. And they wrote, do you have any tips for training individual fingers? For example, I have a really poor half crimp due to a weak index finger. And reading that question, it made me think of that So What video, because I think there's a clip where you're doing like a body weight hang on 2 small little 6 mil edges or something, and you're like crimping with only 2 fingers on each hand, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh yeah, I think the two middle fingers.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. That's just a challenge that I tried. But I don't train them individually. I train them all together. I think the hands too, a lot of the thing for the grip is depends on like on your body anatomy too. Like some people have a longer index finger or shorter. So I don't know if you notice, like when people kind of like half grip or like try to put all fingers together, for me, the middle 2 finger, when they're slightly bent, and then I put the 2 other together, I'll have the pinkies almost straight and the index almost straight. That's for me, that's like a very comfortable position when I kind of like almost like on decent edge, like something like a 20 millimeter edge or something like that. That's very comfortable for me. That's how my fingers line up naturally. If I start half crimping one a bit more when it's like on smaller edge, it feels a bit more comfortable. But I think a lot of the time can be something that maybe more with the anatomy. But if it's something that gives you a lot of trouble, I would probably do just like make the intensity very easy, like make it really easy. So like almost on warm-up exercise, and just work on that position, on kind of like getting that half crimp position on that index, but make sure it's at really low intensity where you have like total control over it. And then just slowly build that. And like over a few weeks, you'll start to get a bit more comfortable at getting that. And I think when we half crimp, it's because both joints are going to be engaged. So it's a lot more challenging. I think that's what the science behind it says, why half crimping is so much better, because I think it's the most challenging one as well, because then both port articulation are engaged in it. So it'll have more carryover to the other ones. I mean, I think that's the purpose behind it. You train kind of like the weakest one, and then it's going to make the other ones a bit better. But yeah, for most part, I when I grab like a decent edge, I like having almost my index almost straight. I notice I don't focus too much on half crimping. I know like I can half crimp, and I do it when I mostly on smaller edges, like 6 or something like that. That's when that position becomes a bit more comfortable for me. But yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. So you do whatever feels most comfortable to your anatomy rather than getting fixated on like, I have to do a strict half crimp or open or whatever.
I notice that when I'm climbing outside and when I'm grabbing edge, that's how I'm going to grab him. Like for me, like the rock doesn't care how I grab the hold. Whatever I get the most out of, for me is the right way. If it's holding me back, then I would probably focus on it. But if I noticed I grab everything like this, and that's how I'm strong like that, then it makes sense for me to train it like that. Yeah.